In this video, we're going to talk about shadow resolution. Now, I've got an area here inside our little demo level that does a pretty good job of explaining the resolution properties available to you here on your light. And that's this cool little ramp object that I've got sitting over here. So what I'm going to do is move our controller such that we can see this kind of diagonal shadow being cast across the ground. Then I'm going to hit Control-Shift-P and pause playback while we make some adjustments here. Now, we've already talked about our shadow type. We've talked about our shadow strength. The next thing we have is resolution. And this is a drop-down allowing you to control exactly what the name says. How high is the resolution of your shadows? The first option we have is Use Quality Settings. This basically says I don't want to decide here inside of this light what my quality settings are.
Right.
I want to reach over into the project settings, down to quality, and use whatever was established here. Now in this case, our editor is using a quality setting of Fantastic, meaning it's reaching down into the Fantastic presets. And if we take a look, we have shadow resolution set to high resolution. We could set this to low, and you'll see that update here inside of our view, so we get these nice big chunky shadows. We could set it to medium, and then we can set it to high, like so. Now what I'm going to do is go back over here to our sun, and we can set that here as well. We can override what's already found inside of our quality settings, so we can set this to low, and you can already see proof right there that it is overriding those quality settings, over to medium, and over to high. And it's pretty straightforward what those do. The higher we go, the crisper the shadows become. Now down from here we have the projection. This allows for two different calculations on how the shadow maps that are created by this light are projected across the surface. The first setting is uniform, and what this does is this takes your shadows and I want to say broadcast, I keep wanting to use the word broadcast, but it projects them evenly across all of the surfaces in your level. Now, if I unpause, what I'm going to do is I'm going to climb up here, and I'll be doing a little bit of back and forth here, but take a look at this shadow caused by this second little ramp section. And then we can compare that against this. Now, I realize in the video that the difference between the two might be negligible, but hang on just a minute. I'm going to pause one more time, and we're going to switch over to Uniform Focused. Now, what Uniform Focus does is it's going to project this shadow map based on the bounding volume, the size of whatever it is receiving the shadows. So that objects that are much larger, like this floor that we're standing on right now, are going to have that shadow map broadcast over a much bigger surface, meaning the resolution will seem to be a little bit lower on larger objects than it is on smaller objects. So let's take a look here. And let's see if I can pause right as I'm looking at this. So Control-Shift-P, and I can jump in between the two. So uniform, you can see that there's a little bit of fuzzing there.
Right, because it's actually trying to use a shadow map that is a lower resolution over a larger area, so you get a softer effect.
That's right. Now focused is tightening this effect up, so we do get a little bit sharper, but there is a drawback, kind of a balance that you need to be aware of, and that is if we come up here, our shadows appear to be crawling a little bit.
Right. Unity refers to this as stability in the shadow map.
And that's because it's trying to take into account the bounding volume of this particular object that is receiving the shadows versus the larger volume we get here. So it's two different ways to project. Generally, Uniform Focused can give you tighter resolution on your shadows, but it's not as stable of a calculation because it is going to shift depending on the bounding volume of what it is receiving those shadows, which will change from one object to the next. So that is a quick look at the resolution settings you have for your shadows. That will wrap things up for this video. Thanks for watching.